We're very lucky to get Cats. We're one of the first companies to license it outside of the touring companies, so it's going to be a regional premiere in the whole Northwest, in a lot of part of the country. And it's something that we really wanted to do because we have the dancers, and we're just real excited to bring it to the Northwest.
What's really interesting about this show is that it's a totally different show from anything that's usually done. The music is, an operetta, but we only have 2 weeks to get it up instead of, the regular 4 weeks or even 6 weeks that it usually takes for this type of show. Making sure that we went over our notes before we got here, just so that in the rehearsal process we could work as a team, Ross and I, so that I could take one group and then he could take another group and teach them at the same time, so that we would save time. We just had to double up because we have half the time to get the show up. That means we're going to have to double up on rehearsal. So we did that. We had a lot of meetings technically wise with the lighting designer, costume designer, set designer, almost a year in advance, just to make sure that during the year they could be pulling pieces, building sets, making sure they rented the right lights for the show. Even orchestra-wise, we had to make sure we had the right orchestra for this show because it's a whole different feel of music. And so there was a lot of prep work because we only have 2 weeks. It's not Forever Plaid or it's not Little Shop of Horrors. It's, Cats. So it's a spectacle show. So it takes a lot of preparation.
What we were doing this morning is setting everybody up to be successful in the play. They have to come in and take a lot of risks. They have to come in and do a lot of things that normally you don't do on a daily basis, and they have to feel comfortable. And so part of our first day is to feel comfortable and kind of take that time to get to know one another and say, we're actors, but we're also people, and we have to blend those two things together. And that's a lot of what this morning is about, is blending those two things: actor, performer, plus being a person who has anxieties, who has, doubt, and but also hope and wishes.
Melissa Black, Rebel Teaser. Thanks for the applause. Goose.
Bill Rhodes, Old Deuteronomy.
Welcome to the dilemma of the fourth show, because the fourth show is its own animal. Everybody's trying to get to the same space, which is putting a show on for Cats, which is 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
From today.
Yeah.
Wow. Just take a moment. And that space is out there, and it's coming whether we want it to or not. Whether we're excited or not, whether we're tired or not, that space is there. And each one of you are in a different place in your journey to that space.
Understand your environment still. You awake from your sleep and your slumber. You go from cat to human whenever you want. No rush, at your own pace. Some of you found that being an animal can be very animalistic. Some of your basic survival skills: eating, sleeping, people around you, your senses, and your, that's, your procreation. Being, what? Curious. Like a lot of curiosity of what things are, either by your five senses. You have to realize that if you're blind, your ears are your survival. If you're deaf, your eyes are your survival. Stuff like that. Cats can't talk. So, what are their other survival skills? What else do they use? What else did you get? Go ahead.
Really aware of everything, like especially sound and sound and touch. I was really sensed when I was on the floor, how it felt, how the people around me felt. It was really very.
And something different.
Something
completely different. Rubbing up against someone. What does that say? Not necessarily. I want to make love to you, but How does that make you feel? Oh, someone likes to touch me. Someone, it just feels good to be touched. That's why cats love to rub up against people, right? So use that when we do the show. What else?
I was gonna say what Kendall said. I just every noise that I heard was just like a new discovery, and every time like sometimes when you would play the piano or whatever, I was like, oh, it's gonna rain, and then you're like, it's gonna rain. It was just really cool to like just be so alert and just aware of everything around you.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool when you split us up into two different groups. You immediately felt companionship with the small group that you had, and then coming together as one group.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, during all the noises, I kind of felt like lost if I was by myself, but like if I could find somebody else to be with, like during the rain and things like that, I felt a lot more comfortable.
Good. So maybe safety in numbers, or the importance of a tribe, the importance of family. How did you feel about someone being on your turf that you didn't like so much, for whatever reason?
I wanted to protect her too. You know what I mean? Even though everyone was, you know, reacting to her in bad ways.
Basically
stuff.
taking control.
I wanted
or
to,
you wanted
but I
to
also
be
wanted
there.
to take care of my tribe and get her out of our space, but also protect her.
Interesting.
Get her out safely.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's a good choice. I think that's a very good choice. You know, not wanting someone there, but at the same time saying, you know, we don't want you here, but I'm not going to physically harm you. Just know that this is our space, that kind of thing.
The biggest challenge I have is how many notes we have to teach, how many difficult rhythms we have to teach, and how little time we have to do it. That's the biggest challenge. A lot of the performers in the show tend to be dancers, so singing is not their strongest point. So to get them comfortable with all the singing during all the movement they have to do is a really big challenge. So I guess the main thing is our time crunch, how to teach all this in a short amount of time. Everyone's definitely able to do it, but sometimes just to find the hours, because it's a really heavy choreographed show. There's a lot of dancing in it. That had to take a little precedence, so sometimes we have to borrow a few minutes out of our dinner break or lunch break to teach notes.